This game brings the unique concept to the auto-battler / roguelite genre, which tasks players with managing a party of heroes as they ascend a tower to stop the evil Medusa. Welcome everyone, StealthyShiroean here, and today I'm taking a first look at Gorgon Shield from the Steam Next Fest. Gorgon Shield is being developed by Whiskey Barrel Studios and published by Two Left Thumbs and Gamersky Games. If you'd like to check out any of my previous days of Steam Next Fest coverage, then click on my playlist below. Before that though, let's check out Gorgon Shield. And I think I want to tackle this first impression a little differently because, truth be told, it's not a first impression. I follow Oliver Joyce on YouTube, the creator of Swords and Sandals, and the one man behind Whiskey Barrel Studios, and have kept up with Gorgon Shield's development since the beginning, even participating in a playtest some months back. I wanted to make sure to highlight this title though, just for the sheer uniqueness of it. So instead, I want to jump straight into the gameplay so you guys know what it's all about. As mentioned, players have to manage a party of heroes as they ascend a tower fighting baddies along the way. At the start of a run, you'll need to choose your party of adventurers, with the lone barbarian being the only choice in the beginning. Once you enter the tower, the heroes all stand on the titular Gorgon Shield as it ascends levels. At each level, there will be a timer until the shield ascends again. During this time, the heroes will need to fight off the spawn monsters trying to kill them and destroy the shield. Heroes automatically attack the enemies that come on screen, but the catch is that only the hero in the position that the monsters are coming from can attack, so you'll want to manage your health and rotate the shield as necessary. However, it's not as simple as only fighting the monsters because other platforms can be present to influence the player's decision. Should they try to heal up a particular hero, but let the shield take damage? Try to get some treasure to help them along for their next run? Choices like these, along with the constant management of heroes, lead to some frantic fun and strategy as you rotate the shield around to maximize your efficiency and survive. As the heroes progress up the tower, they gain experience and can level up. Each hero has a plethora of different things they can upgrade, from their stats to a selection of special loot, or a one-time bonus to heal, repair the shield, or gain some gold. In addition, they can also unlock an active skill that can be used at the player's discretion, along with the skill on the shield itself that could help the heroes. I like the choices here, and you really had to weigh your options based on the current situation. I also liked how experience was a total for the party of adventurers, rather than each hero gaining experience individually. It placed more emphasis on how to build your strategy for tackling the tower. For instance, I knew that my wizard wasn't going to be a character that could attack enemies up front, but he might not always have access to a ranged platform, so I made sure to level him up first and get his fireball skill so that he could still contribute to the fight without being in the thick of it. Every few levels, the tower presents a player with a couple doors to choose from, which can bring boons to the player, and sometimes hinder them depending on what was chosen. This also offers some extra ways for players to improve their run. Right before a boss fight, the players have to enter the labyrinth, which is a fun little game mode. It takes a top-down perspective as the heroes navigate a dungeon, potentially gaining a lot of good loot, or facing an untimely death. If players take too long though in their quest for greed, or maybe they just can't find their way, then the Grim Reaper spawns and it's a mad rush to the exit before he ends the heroes and your run. Speaking of, at the end of a run, you get spit out at the base of the tower with some gold to spend before taking another attempt. In the demo, there were 3 buildings available. The wagon and the forge allowed you to upgrade your heroes and shield platform for things like more health and augmenting the shield's special ability. And the tavern gives you the opportunity to unlock new heroes to adjust your party layouts, of which there were only 3 available in the demo, which were the Barbarian, Wizard, and Rogue. In typical roguelike fashion, you can improve your chances of success with each subsequent run and gain access to new toys to play with. I think messing around with the party composition will be the most fun, trying to find the best ones that work. In my time with the demo, I unlocked everything available and did experiment with the Rogue for a bit, but I think my winning combination was to use 2 warriors and a wizard, get the fireball early as mentioned, and improved its cooldown time so the wizard was more useful. Then I just beefed up my warriors and that got me through each run most of the time, which the demo capped at level 20. The runs themselves are quite fast, but I imagine as you manage to reach higher and higher levels, then it'll take more time, as is the case with just about any roguelite. Luckily, there are items you can get from quests called warp mirrors. These mirrors can help skip levels, and I imagine will be much more important in the full game when you're trying to get back to where you met an untimely end. Outside of the gameplay, I really enjoyed the charming aesthetic the game had with its retro pixel art visuals, along with some neat 3D effects of the tower. Oliver wanted to make this have an arcade quality to it, and I think this shows very nicely in the visuals, especially with the CRT shader option. I also like the art for the loading screen and Medusa's taunts. She's so cute, how could she possibly be evil, right? And of course, if you're trying to make a retro game, then you have to have some good retro-themed music to go along with it. The tracks and sound effects really help to sell the idea of an old-school arcade machine game, which is exactly what the dev was going for. Before I jump into my final thoughts, please consider giving this video a like if you enjoyed it, as that helps me out greatly with the YouTube algorithm gods. Overall, I put a little over 2 hours into the demo, and I unlocked everything there was to unlock. As I mentioned, I think this little game is unique. I appreciated the game's experimentation with something different, even at the expense of being a bit foreign to players. It's not going to be some big blockbuster hit, but it's got a lot of heart behind it and good ideas. Obviously, I'm a bit closer to this project than other indie titles I've covered, but I honestly feel that if you want to support indie devs, then give this game a shot. As far as feedback to the dev goes, I have a couple things. The first is for new players onboarding. The tutorial does a really good job to explain the basics of the game, but I think the stops at the door choices could be more transparent. The choices present a name, but until players have experience with the game, they won't know what potential benefits lie behind a door. I feel a little icon could be helpful on the door instead of the face, or placed alongside the name in the button text. The second thing is I felt the game should be paused in the labyrinth when leveling up, especially when the Reaper appears, because he can still move when in the level up screen, but he can't finish you until you're done. Sometimes I've managed to escape the Reaper before he can trigger my hitbox, but other times, not so lucky. Also, the game should probably pause when the camera focuses on the Reaper's introduction, because I noticed I could still move my heroes. I'm not sure if I could get hurt if I potentially walked into a trap or enemy, as I didn't pay attention to that closely, but something I wanted to point out. For any who played the demo, then let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And if not, then let me know if it looks like something you'd be interested in, or if you have any other questions. Gorgon Shield is another game releasing really soon with a release date for Q3 of this year, but I have it on good authority it will be in late July. And this wraps up my coverage for the Summer Next Fest. Thanks for sticking around, and check out my past videos if you haven't already seen them. I hope this video helped you in some small way, and if it did, then please consider leaving a like, comment, subscribe, or whatever it is you feel like doing. Thanks for watching, and have a nice day.